Chapter 3. Making Dresses with the Queen of Smocks. Burlington woke up in his hammock, and for a moment he had quite forgotten where he was. The sound of exotic birds and the warm breeze tickling his fur soon brought him back to the present. He could not believe that he had been in Madagascar for several weeks. It felt like a moment ago when he had arrived with Charlotte, naked and covered in Earl Grey tea. The days had passed very happily, but his paws were itching for more adventure. Charlotte was really enjoying life in Madagascar. She loved spending her days in the Charlotte C. Dimpy atelier. An atelier is where clothes are designed and made. Charlotte was helping to make beautiful dresses, which even Burlington had to admit were spellbinding. Charlotte was becoming invaluable to Monique Ramahay, who is in charge of the atelier. Madame Monique is also called the Queen of Smocks and imagines every smocked dress that is made. She is called a designer. Burlington could understand why Charlotte found the atelier so interesting. It was a large room lined with shelves and piles of fabrics, from shiny organza to ballerina-like tulle, cottons, velvets, floral prints, reds, pinks, blues, in fact all the colours of the rainbow. There were tables with sewing machines and many friendly ladies working away. There were boxes of buttons and coloured threads which Burlington could not take his eyes off. "Burlington, do come here and sit next to me," called Charlotte kindly. Madame Monique was relieved as Burlington was a little clumsy at times. Madame Monique asked if Burlington would like to know how the atelier created its magical dresses. "To create a garment, I first need to be inspired by a fabric. A fabric or a piece of material has a colour and a texture which must be appealing to all the senses. When I choose my fabrics, I feel just like you eating carrot cake. However, smocking is what makes our dresses so special," said Madame Monique proudly. Burlington looked very confused. "What is smocking?" he said. "Smocking is a traditional couture technique in which the fabric is first tightly pleated and then embroidery is added on top. It is an art which requires skill and patience. Today, some are made with machines, but nothing equals handmade craftsmanship. Let Charlotte show you how we make our beautiful dresses," said the Queen of Smocks. Charlotte took Burlington around each part of the atelier so he could understand with his own eyes. "Once we have carefully picked the fabric, we give it to Ravo. Can you see him working with his big scissors and cards?" said Charlotte. "He lays the material out flat on his large table and then puts pieces of card on it. Each piece has a different shape and matches a specific part of the dress. For example, one for the collar, one for the right arm, one for the left arm, one for the skirt, and so on. These pieces of card are called patterns, and of course there is a pattern for each size too. Ravo traces around them with a pencil and then cuts around each one. Once Ravo has cut out all the pieces of fabric, he then puts them into neat piles and gives them to the seamstresses. The job of the seamstress is to put all the pieces together to make one garment using threads and needles and sewing machines. The most talented seamstress makes the smocking. They use a traditional hand pleater to pleat the fabric and then embroider on top, following the Queen of Smocks instructions. They use different coloured thread to decorate the dress, as if they were painting with a needle. Sometimes it is just shapes, flowers, or they could even embroider a bear. Burlington thought it was mesmerising, watching their fairy-like hands at work, sewing and creating magic along the way. Once the smocked panel is ready, it is given back to the team to assemble with the other parts of the dress. Another important step in creating a dress is something called the finishings. It is all the little details which makes our dresses stand out from the rest. My favourite one is the lining underneath the dress. It has tiny holes which we call hemstitch on the hem. The lining is what gives the dress that magical twirl when you wear them, and you know how much I love to twirl, laughed Charlotte. Lastly, but very importantly, we peel the dress, which means we remove all the little threads that sometimes get stuck to the dress and then iron it. There is always a final inspection to make sure the dress is perfect. To check everything, we put the dress on a mannequin, which is a dummy shaped like a body used to display clothes. The dress is the result of the whole atelier, with each person bringing their own expertise and care, which makes the dresses come to life. What do you think, Burlington? Said Charlotte. Burlington saw a little quote on the notice board. Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And then he understood the importance of working in a team. Burlington needed another rest after discovering what was involved in making a dress. He lay down on his hammock and soon drifted off to sleep. Meanwhile, Charlotte sat beside him and took out her pen and paper and wrote to her cousin, funnily enough also called Charlotte. My dear cousin Charlotte, she wrote, I hope you and Mamma Carol are well. I am missing you in Madagascar, but I have completely fallen in love with the island and the atelier. I love learning to create beautiful smock dresses for little girls and dolls to enjoy all around the world. I would very much like to stay here with Madame Monique, where I think I would be really useful. However, I promised Mamma Carol I would return to Paris, to L'Île aux Fées, the Parisian boutique selling our Charlotte C. Dimpy dresses. Did you know it means Fairy Island? Would you like to be our fairy Charlotte and go to Paris in my place? Burlington is so looking forward to going, but he will need a friend to discover Paris with. It is rather lucky we're both called Charlotte, then Burlington will not get in a muddle with names. I hope you say yes, and please let me know all about your exciting adventures if you do go. With love, Charlotte. Charlotte posted the letter and made herself busy, helping to make a whole new wardrobe fit for a doll and bear in Paris. A few weeks later she received a letter from her cousin, telling her that she would be delighted to go to Paris and had already bought her ticket. Burlington carefully packed 2 suitcases fit to bursting. He dressed himself in his new suit and stood in front of the mirror to admire himself. He did not think he had ever looked so smart. He must be careful not to spill anything down his new clothes this time. He said goodbye to the Queen of Smocks and to all the lovely people at the atelier, and to Charlotte. He could not wait to arrive in Paris and meet Cousin Charlotte at the Fairy Island. What exciting adventures would be waiting for them.